Good afternoon, Malcolm. Welcome to this discussion on project management and procurement. Thank you for your giving up your time, your valuable time, I should say, this afternoon. What are your thoughts on sort of the general benefits of good project management?
Ray, well, first of all, good afternoon. Thank you very much for inviting me along. I've been a project manager and program manager for, well, quite some time, longer than I care to think about. But the key benefits really are with the busy times that we exist in, think people just seem to be busier and busier and busier. We can do more very quickly with the fast communications that we've got. But in the end, the work that we do has to be managed. The risks need to be managed, and the program needs to be managed, and the costs need to be managed. And so those three areas, those three aspects are key. And if they are taken care, along with all the other good things about project management, if they are taken care of, there's a much better chance of success than simply launching with an idea, lining up some resources, and then seeing where you get to.
Sometimes we call it the conspiracy of optimism, that somehow it'll all be right on the night, as opposed
Yeah,
to a planned approach. I think it was John Eisner said that plans are useless, planning is everything. So, it's about planning to get things done, and as you quite rightly mentioned, yeah. What about in the procurement context? I mean, maybe some people would say, well, they're two separate disciplines. So what's that linkage between why do good procurement people need to understand project management?
well, even I mean, I'm dealing with some really big procurements at the moment, and it's you can see the obvious benefit of those of project management within the bigger procurements. But even in the smaller things, everything needs to happen by a certain amount of time. Of course, if it's public procurement we're talking about, there are clear timelines. But in the commercial sector, every penny should be a prisoner. Every minute you're burning time is costing you, and the more carefully you can manage those procurement exercises from market intelligence right through to contract award, the more compliance you can achieve in the public sector, and the more commercial success you will enjoy in both the public and in the commercial sector too.
I guess, yeah, I can see that. I guess because procurement is essentially a sequential process, step one, step two, step three, step four, and that things have to be coordinated to happen at certain times, then that's where the project management discipline comes in, I guess.
Yeah, I'm working on a big project or two at the moment, and the first thing I did was look around for a project manager to help us out with this. There is, especially when I think in the requirements gathering phase, is where this project management expertise has come in really handy. We have to go out to a wide number of people within an organization to identify what it is we need to procure. And we really need to stay on top of that activity, along with other activities within project management, but within the procurement exercise. But certainly through the requirements gathering phase, just keeping on top, getting the right questions out to people and chasing their answers is critical. And good project management will help you stay on top of that.
That's a very interesting point, actually, because World CC research says that in any tender exercise, it affects up to 30% of the people working in that organisation are somehow either major or minor stakeholders in the process.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, requirements is everything.
Mhm.
You've got to know what you want. And the only way to do that is to go and ask. And people aren't sitting just waiting around in the organization for you to ask those questions. They have busy day jobs. So staying on top of the ask, chasing people when you don't know what you haven't had a response, and that's down in the detail. But that all folds up into the wider project management, and it's an
Yeah.
important aspect.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I know when we do some of our defining requirements, we always have what's called a focus group event where we try and get all these people virtually around the table because getting to them individually can be quite challenging. But because of new technology like Zoom and Teams, you can get quite a lot of people around a virtual table to discuss the requirements, but not in great detail, just the general headings, really, I guess, is what you could cover there. Okay,
Yes.
so what about some examples? Okay, do you have any particular examples where this would work apart from the public sector? Have you run a project? I mean, obviously we can't name company names, but you
Of
know,
course.
but maybe from a
Yeah,
yeah, from a sector that you're
yeah,
familiar with.
absolutely. I can see I can see a couple of examples emerging in my mind now. One in particular, a real tricky piece of work for a commercial client that had been recently acquired by a larger company, but they were during the acquisition, they were on the brink of a major procurement. Um, and as you can imagine, the acquisition was a serious distraction
Mhm,
for the people who had to do their day job and actively be involved in the procurement of the things that are going to keep their business running,
mhm,
and that they still had so that they still had something to acquire in the end. The key to all of that, key to getting through that, and it wasn't easy, and I won't pretend it all stayed exactly on course as we'd planned it. We didn't know about the acquisition when we put the plan together, but the fact that we had a plan for the procurement, um, that the steps that had to be followed were laid out, the stakeholders had been identified, um, helped us survive that particular activity and get through and undergo the acquisition at the same time as delivering the procurement. Now that's quite an extreme example, but there are
mhm, yeah,
plenty of others where just staying on top of the activities and keeping the stakeholders informed through good project reporting, which is part of the project management process, has helped see through many cases that I've been involved in, many procurements I've been involved in.
okay, that's really good. So I guess you would recommend that people who are involved in procurement should get some kind of project management training, some kind of project management coaching, perhaps. It's a sort of almost like one of their subsets of their professional studies.
Yeah, absolutely. If you think of maybe a 2 or 3 day Prince course or something like that will give you the fundamentals. But there's nothing better than just sitting down with a colleague who's done it before, and at a procurement kickoff meeting. One of the tools that comes out of the bag is whatever project management tool that you have in the organization. Lots of people are still using spreadsheets, but there are other tools available, and that should be wheeled out just as all the other procurement tools come out of the bag. That should be wheeled out at contract kickoff time. Sorry, procurement exercise kickoff time. But back to your point, a little bit of training will go a long way. At least people understand the fundamentals and the benefits, more importantly,
Yep.
of a bit of
Okay.
project
Yeah.
management.
Okay. Well, I think that's the course that you've designed for us. I mean, that basically is an overview of project management in the procurement context, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
yes, it is.
Good. Okay. Okay. What about the skills and attributes of professionals overseeing procurement projects?
Well, I think in terms of attributes, if we can start there, a bit of awareness of the business and the ability to communicate with people in order to develop that awareness is a skill that all or an attribute that all procurement professionals should have. Certainly, quite a bit of patience, but also quite a bit of resilience as well,
Mm.
and the determination to get to the answer in order to articulate the requirement. And I keep coming back to requirements because it all rests on
Yeah,
understanding what you
absolutely.
need.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, in a nutshell, in terms of attributes, certainly the a bit of tenacity to go out there and find the stakeholders, to go out there when you found those stakeholders and sit them down and get them understanding what it is they want, or helping them understand what it is they want and need, and then the ability to articulate that. And that's not easy. Sometimes you have to push a little.
Mhm.
Sometimes that's uncomfortable, but in the end, people will understand why you need this information. And skills. You need to be able to juggle a few balls. You need to keep your eye on the plan. Project management we come back to again, and you need to be able to see the connections in
Mhm.
all of this and
Yeah,
see the
yeah.
benefits, and in the end I think you one of the skills that I believe that real good procurement professionals possess is the ability to lift their heads above the process, which still needs to be managed, but to see what we're trying to achieve, what's trying to be achieved. In the end, we need to get into a good contractual relationship through a procurement exercise that's going to deliver upon the requirements that the company, the organization needs. And those who don't do so well often get bogged down in the process.
Mm.
Those who do better lift their head above the parapet and can find a way through to the right place.
Excellent. Well, I think we'll stop there. I think you've covered all my questions. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon, Malcolm, and hopefully we'll have future chats with you as time goes by. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. My pleasure.